So we are JSACA members. Four now. Maybe we will expand more. The JSACA is the Japan Sweden Culture and Architecture Association, and it's just established. And yes, today is a kind of opening lecture or memorial lecture of our establishment. And today, two JSACA members will present about their experience in Sweden and after coming back to Japan, how they spend their time as an architect. So first lecturer is Ryosuke Fujii. Thank you so much. He did an exchange program in KTH from 2003 to 4, and then he graduated from master course in Tokyo. Now it's Science Tokyo. Yes, and then now he's running this office. And the second lecturer is Yusuke Asaco. And he also did the exchange in KTH and then also graduated from Tokyo. Now he's also running his own office routes. So both will talk about the relationship, the experience, and what the effect of this experience is. So much, and maybe we can discuss after their presentation. And of course, I know that we are including some the exchange student from KTH, and who did the exchange in KTH. I also did the exchange in KTH, and it's yeah. Edo has both experience and reaching in Japan.
Right.
Yes.
The only one who graduated.
Yes. And actually, and then yeah, it's more as a kind of philosophy of JSACA. You actually can read our manifest in our Instagram account, in first post in Instagram. It's more important to know each other. What's maybe not about only Sweden, but yeah, it's important to have a conversation about what is architecture, what is culture, and yeah, then between these, like we can borrow our the difference between Sweden and Japan, or similarity, opposite. So yes. Thank you for your lecture. Please, yes. Is it 15 minutes? Yes. Yeah, please listen and relax. We have your mind.
Good evening. My name is Ryosuke Fujii, and I'd like to share some thoughts on the theme of dualities in Swedish culture. And I was born in Kagawa, Japan, and I studied architecture at Tokyo Institute of Technology, and now Science Tokyo, and Spain. Spent 1 year as an exchange student at KTH Sweden. After university, I worked 10 years at Sakakura Associates, and then studied my own architecture program. And so I have designed this named Spline House, and this named Gia House, and the collective housing, and the coffee shop in Sapporo. Yes. And when I was went to Sweden, showed me the deep respect for silence and time. But on the same weekend, I also shopped at IKEA, full of bright colors and mass products. This two-mood silence is vivid, modest, and expressive. Felt like two different sides of the same culture. And at KDH, I joined Professor Frederick Lund studio. We visit Malmö, lucky host near Gothenburg. Before designing here, we first painted our studio space with expensive Swedish students quickly changed temporary interiors. But when they touch the natural side, they are very careful. This is one duality, flexibility inside and permanence outside. And I also felt summer and winter personality. People are very open and joyful in summer, but calm and melancholy in dark winter. And the music shows it too. Pop music, like Italians, and Swedish jazz music have each different way. Fashion shows it too. H&M for mass fashion, and Acne Studio for personal style. But these are not opposite, they coexist. This coexistence is important in Swedish culture. And historically, Sweden stands between two big systems, American-style capitalism and Soviet-style socialism. In the 1930s, it chose a middle way called the welfare state. The idea is simple: social equality and personal freedom together. And their classic Swedish text explain this. One is beauty in the home. This is about good design for every family. And second one is more beautiful everyday things. That shows beautiful mass production. And third one is acceptera. This shows the problem in our time can be stated as quantity and quality, the mass and the individual. They said accept modernism and tradition, not either or. Notice the word, both and. And they said both and. This is 35 years before we got in Chile about complexity and the contradiction in architecture. IKEA gives choice to the individual, but also build an infrastructure for society. The dualities of Sweden are, in a way, opposite of the uniformity of modernism. If I posit these characteristic words of modernism, I found that the concept of the buka is volatility and uncertainty and complexity and ambiguity. This means that duality and rupa have something in common. And I therefore try to reinterpret reverence on the basis of the rupa keyword. I won't go into the detail as it would have taken a lot of time, so that if you're interested, you can read this book. Duality is also the opposite of one-dimensionality. It means looking at things from a different point of view and using them in a different way. Reinterpretation is also a way of finding new design. I use this idea of reinterpretation in my own work. Example one, for example, I use the muscle that produced EKS soup. But actually, that's the generic design of 360. This one, by art. To build custom book shape by cutting and reassembling them, turn standardized parts into a unique infrastructure. This really becomes a new design. And this is second example. This is the street style fashion shop. Street means a road between buildings, so I used window frames to hang clothes, make mirrors, and show goods. The shop shows the reinterpretation of a small street. This is the detail of the window frame. And the third one, this is the skate shop and cafe. Skateboarding copies surfing. The city becomes a wave. The skate park form is an abstraction of the elements of the city. I look at the shape of the skate park and turn them into cafe, bench, and the displays. People can sit, place cafe, or even by the board. A misunderstanding became an opportunity. Architect Werner Rudolphi wrote, "Now I let me down to eat." He showed strange dining habits around the world and said, what we call normal is only what we are used to. Study abroad and travel give us fresh eyes. Today, there are few students overseas who step out, misread and reinterpret. Dualities and reinterpretation are energy for new design.
Thank you very much. So maybe, we will just continue to Asaco-san's presentation, and then we will get the questions.
Comprehensive reflection
Yes.
from the audience.
start? Konbanwa. Good evening. Thank you for coming today. I'm Yusuke Asaco from Sprout Studio. That is my own office, just established from 1.5 years ago. I work as an architect and praise producer. I studied in a studio focused on sustainable design at KTH in Sweden. That experience still deeply influences me today. It's also one of the reasons why I started JSACA. And please allow me to read a script today. In the studio class, we visited places like town in the Arctic region where everything is being demolished and rebuilt in the name of industry, or large cities suffering from poverty and violence. What I learned is that unsustainable conditions arise from many factors and many reasons. So people often think sustainable design is just about materials like CO2 reduction or reusing the things, but that's only a small part of it. I saw Brazilian architecture called Sesc Pompeia, designed by Lina Bocauri. This is not Swedish at all, but we went there in the course of KTH education. I have to mention it. What struck me was how people were fully living in and loving these spaces as part of their everyday life. There were diverse places to be, sense of psychological safety, and people could act as they truly are, like this bright space in the dark space, calm and noisy, energetic and quiet. Look at this guy. He's half naked and totally relaxed, but no one cares. It's quite normal in this situation and this atmosphere. So activities in this place were constantly imagined. So I truly felt that this architecture and the place will never perish. So even if physically it's damaged, people will rise up and rebuild it again. And I was lucky to join the guided tour by staff here with Portuguese interpretation, thanks to KTH. In fact, local residents could use these sports facilities for free, so they don't have to pay. I think its economical model was also well designed. That's clearly one of the factors supporting the sustainability of this place. So I think sustainability includes many elements. Ecosystem, for example, ecosystem, durability, economy, flexibility, stewardship, community agency, identity, or memory, and so on. So designing this is what we believe sustainable design truly means. So people often confuse global sustainability and place sustainability. They are different, of course different, but continuous. There's also one for maybe sustainability for societies, maybe nations, and even galaxy maybe. And rather than tackling the global environment directly, I want to design the sustainability of each places. So what matters to me is whether people continue to love and use the place as part of their daily life. So just like how Nordic people treasure their furniture across generations. And in the end, that place sustainability contributes to global sustainability because it reduces waste and encourages people to think deeply about maintenances. So let's go back to Sweden. I still remember this beautiful mushroom. So adapting to the environment and the land, this is also key, I think. So living organisms hold many hints about how to sustain. By the way, a famous architecture was there, very close to each other, like 20 meters. Well, we often hear the phrase like format content, 形と中身、あるいは器と中身、format content, or you might call it hardware and software. For those two, so what kind of diagrams do you imagine in your mind? Have you imagined? This is it for me. So, based on living content, I always want to be conscious that there is life inside of a cell. When the plant grows well, the base steps back and blend into the presence of the plant. So when the plant dies, the base feels empty and meaningless. So likewise, when the activity within the building fades away, it becomes lifeless, and it cannot sustain more. I see architectures of the cell, and what matters is the living content inside for me. I always want to start from the living content, the daily activities and the commerce of the people. That's also part of what we design at Sprout Studio. In fact, as part of my living content research, I created a web magazine. We covered like over 20 cases following the story behind how content emerges. There are core fans, and the magazine Blue is still active. So please search for it if you are interested. It also has some really cute diagram in the magazine. Okay, maybe we're still on sustainability parts, so let me show some projects. First is an experimental project in Gunma Prefecture called Tiny House. This is a temporary structure we built as a community space. We constructed it over 3 days, and it's by self-built process. The construction, the building action itself became a kind of workshop here, in which anyone could join in during the construction under the observation of professionals. So this is clipping from the YouTube video. So we only designed a rough spatial frame, like cubic frame, leaving room for experimentation. It's a 3.6 meter cube, much larger than the human body. So you can feel kind of achievement when it's built. Spontaneously the local people were joining the construction, like 50 people in total. Beside the workshop, these participants naturally started to build their bench. It's completely outside of the workshop, but I think this bench is beautiful. Here, the act of building serves as the program, and this activity connected people to the place. I thought we didn't need to define its usage like a community space or library or whatever, because once people feel a connection to the place, they naturally need to think, how can we use this space as our own? And as a result of the experiment, people interpreted it as a stage for performance. So this was a really interesting outcome. And it made us feel strong potential to the stage as an element in Stockholm area. So the next project is located in the housing complex in Chiba, the place I moved to actually. So this housing complex, you can say that danchi in Japanese. This complex is massive, like home for 10,000 people today. Used to be 30,000 residence. Surprisingly, it's the largest resident plot in Japan. It was built 56 years ago along with its shopping street. The shopping street is truly charming because a 300-meter long row of concrete building with shops on the ground floor and residences above them. So it follows like a Machiya structure. It's so crowded when it's summer festival, but the issue in daily life was missing the third place, the connecting opportunities, especially for young generations. The client was a private company, and they wanted to create a multi-generational share house. We believe that the potential of this danchi made it possible. They also hoped to build a hub, community hub, that could enrich everyday life in the complex. I got involved from the early stage, helping to develop both the program and the business scheme as well. In the end, we turned the second floor into a share house and the ground floor into a rotating day-by-day local diner. So the diner switches everyday contents. We believe that living and food and small-scale commerce could be powerful mediators to connect the people. This is the original station. The original was for commercial, so it's empty and old and too high ceiling height with sharp light from south. The keyword for sustainability is what I think is the keyword is for sustainability is making igokochi, like sense of relax and comfort, and connection with street and flexibility. I always try to avoid completing the design over myself entirely by incorporating the intentions of others and even different timelines. I believe the space becomes more open and fosters a sense of psychological safety. In this image, you can see many layers of other people's presence. For example, white wall was painted by local people, including like 50 people. And the left middle, you can see the old shelves that I picked up from the old unagi restaurant, which was like, I didn't understand what was for. And white, red color. This place used to be a food shop for 50 years, and the floor was red. So we kept that colors as a kind of tribute. Otherwise I don't think I could have the courage to design with red. The blending into urban fabric, shopping street, rather than following the interior wall. So this is the result. Kitchen. Old red painted color and the new one, the carpet. So you please take off your shoes because this is a part of your home. This piece of furniture was cut by a furniture craftsman and assembled by me. I designed it to clearly show how it's built so that people will feel motivated to maintain it in the future. This piece too. Actually, I was assigned to this project as an architect and a creative director, but at the same time I invested in the project, became a co-owner, and took a responsibility after construction, so the living content side. So look at this. Pop-up takoyaki restaurant by local ladies. The other day, Dutch tourism. They came from all over Japan, like 60 or 70 people for tourism. workshop. This was the event day, like open day. Many different contents are going on at the same time. Like you can see the music vibe and cooking young generations and fortune telling actually. This is a video. I hope it works well. So the babies and the elder people and the young people are mixing totally. And under the staircase there was fortune telling. And the babies and family space. And you can see it's continuously connected. I'm spending time much. This is my last slide. Now I'm working on pre-sustainability in a bigger scale in the city of Tokyo. I work with the client to envision the future scenery like 100 years from now. So designing both the spatial framework and the living content at the same time. Now we also propose business and finance ideas with team, not only focusing on community or activities. I hope this project can also create a place that is loved by the local people for generations to come. Yes, I hope this gives you interest in education and architecture in Sweden. Thank you very much.